So, George Carlin once said that you have to be a fool or you have to be asleep to believe in American dream. And that's why it's called the American dream. And I think this statement people took it for granted when George Carlin talked about this. Majority of white people are waking up to realization that America was all but a scam when the system itself cannot support the healthcare of its own citizen, then everyone is losing hope in the country because we are seeing a situation where the elites are so much after the profits and they don't even care about the health of a person. How many times have you heard that Americans are complaining about a food that is quite weird, a food that doesn't match the health standards that should be consumed? Indeed, we have seen these kinds of example. So people are coming out and they are confessing that they are done keeping quiet and this is the time for them to talk about this. And they're sounding alarm that something much worse is yet to come. Some even goes and explains that the reason as to why they haven't been like in the bad state, it's because of the credit card system, the American credit card system. That's the only thing that has been holding people. But if you're careful, the credit card system is always to keep you on the loop of, always trying to be better at taking credit. No, I'm not trying to, make someone feel bad for this, but this is just a factual idea. There's something called American consumerism. Yes, this is what is happening. They are always trying to set a trap to you that you will always have to purchase even though you don't have the money. So if you don't have the money, you still can get the product. But how? Through the credit system. And that's what this woman is trying to explain, that American system is still holding on. It hasn't reached its last stage because of the credit card system, who are the owners of all this credit system. It is the elites. So at the end of the day, when you try to see all this and see the reality, you are realizing that you are getting played. Americans are getting played. Brothers and sisters, I don't want to say much. I want you to hear from white people themselves speaking about this, confessing about all these things. I'll be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter, Generic Story. So let's get into it. I'll be back.
Want to know how bad the economy is? All jokes aside, come work in the ER and see someone in acute kidney injury, which means your kidneys are literally shut down. They are not working. They've been out in the heat all day outside working for their job, and they come in with kidney failure because they're so dehydrated, passing out, literally 1 foot on the other side of the grave. And they're telling you that they can't be admitted to the hospital because they have to get back to work tomorrow. Have someone that works at a tree service chop off the tip of their finger, tell you to wrap it up, discharge you so they can get back to work tomorrow. This economy is crap. People can't even be sick and stay at home and recover because they're worried about not paying their bills.
One thing I've realized while working at a bank is that you're not alone in your situation. I don't know how many accounts I see a day that are in the negative or close to the negative or have $1 to $2. You think it's just you until you see that and you're like, damn, everybody's really struggling out here.
So I'm a surgical resident in New York City, and I'm making balloon animals on social media until my student loans are paid back. Let's make a suitcase out of balloons for Booking.com.
This might be kind of a hot take, but I genuinely believe the only reason we are not in deep shit recession-wise, I know we are, but the only reason I think it's not worse than it is because we have shit like credit cards, Klarna, pay buy now, pay later shit. And if we didn't have that, we'd all be in a Great Depression right now. Like, I know more people who are in credit card debt than people who aren't in credit card debt.
There's going to be a massive housing collapse. I just watched Good Morning America, and they had a segment on how nationwide there's been so many homes that are going to foreclosure. And I've been seeing a lot of creators on this app, particularly in Texas and like the southern states, just saying that there's like so many homes going into foreclosure. We are being gaslighted by this administration regarding not only the housing market, but also the economy. Because everyone's saying, oh, everything's great, jobs are booming. It is not. So many people are jobless right now. And it's not because they're lazy. I've been hearing people saying they're applying to Walmart and they're not even getting that job.
This economy is so bad that scam messages literally went from you won the lottery to a remote job available for $15 an hour. Like scammers used to dream big, you know, they'd promise millions of dollars, a private island, an inheritance from a prince. Now they're offering wages that sound realistic. Okay, I got one the other day that said, you know, flexible schedule, weekly pay. And for a split second, I actually thought, you know, tell me more. You know, that's how you know times have changed. Okay, the scams have become economically responsible. Okay, nobody's texting you, congratulations, you won $10 million, because even they know you'd immediately call it fake. Now we have an entry-level position paying slightly above minimum wage. And honestly, that's harder to rule out. You know, they're studying the job market. They know if they promise 6 figures, we'll laugh. Promise dental after 90 days, and now you got my attention.
House update for y'all. I literally have nothing to share. We lowered the price the week after the 4th of July. And then we have proceeded to have not a single showing. Not one. Not a single showing. Nothing at all. And then we're moving literally next week. So our showing blackout happens because obviously we're moving all of our gear. And then the house will be empty. So maybe it will show better empty and people will be more excited about it. I don't know. But then we're going to lower the price again because we have to sell our house.
I need people to understand that the economy is so bad, we aren't even able to envision a negative future for ourselves, one that we're going to struggle and suffer, one that we're like, okay, this is going to be really hard, but maybe we'll make it out on the other side, and I can envision how hard this is going to be and what I'm going to have to do. No, we are at a point where we cannot even envision a future for ourselves, and that is far more dangerous for your mental and emotional health than anything else. Really, the most important part of all of this is that the younger generations are unable right now to imagine any sort of future for themselves at all. Maybe before they were able to imagine a future that was pretty shitty and they're like, damn, that's gonna suck, that's gonna be hard, but I can at least imagine it and try to prepare myself and blah blah blah. But no, at this point, young people are just I don't know. I don't know what's gonna exist tomorrow, later today. I don't know if we're gonna be at a war. I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to afford gas. It is absolutely catastrophic all around them, just constantly.
Hey honey, do you want to see if our video made the fruit prices any lower?
Absolutely.
Let's see. Oh, I don't think so. It's actually more money at this time. $45.
So I'm apartment hunting right now, and I'm trying so hard not to get angry about the whole thing. We might already be past that. But there are so many apartments out there that want to charge $1,800 plus for less than 600 square feet. It's a shoebox. It's so sad. What is happening? This is the system we've set up after all the years of humanity even existing. This is where we're at. This is how it's going. And the frustrating part is that the suburbs used to be cheaper, a lot cheaper, because you're further out from the cities and everything. And nowadays the suburbs are keeping up with the prices of the city. Why is this a thing? It's so hard to not become very jaded with systems like this. I'm trying not to get angry about it, but please, somebody explain.
Somebody's lying about inflation, man. The fix is in. Somebody is doing this shit on purpose. I saw a car that I thought was a nice looking car, and it was $60,000. That used to be how much a house would cost when I was a kid. Okay? And I understand that the price of goods and services inflate, the price of materials might get higher depending on certain things, but then I got to thinking, we live in a time where it's easier to manufacture a product than it's ever been in history. It's easier to obtain the materials for those products than it's ever been in history. Yet this shit is this expensive. A new house is $700 some odd thousand plus just to live in a. And a lot of times these houses aren't even made from just bricks and wood. They're made of foam and chicken wire, and this shit is damn near $1 million. Somebody's doing this.
I went to the mall Don't go to the mall. But I am convinced that every store in the mall is a money laundering operation. I mean every single one of them. And before you ask, no, I don't actually know what money laundering is. Everything I know about it I learned from Breaking Bad and a Netflix documentary narrated by a British dude whispering over piano music. So no, I don't know. But explain this to me. How's the mall still open? Because there's nobody in there. I mean, the food court's got some people in there. But listen, there's a store that's selling medieval dragon swords next to a place with monogrammed phone cases, and somehow everybody's making rent? Absolutely not. You walk past a candle store, a luggage store, a weird store selling massage chairs and helicopters that are like this big, and they're paying rent? They're empty. Money laundering. You got some Pakistani dude trying to sell me eye bag cream from a kiosk. Brother, come here to me. Stop it. They're funneling illegal revenue through legitimate business structures. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even understand Kohl's Cash. I don't understand how I bought a polo shirt in 2014 and now I got $380 in store credit. That's a real money laundering deal. Don't even get me started on the art and the rug stores in there. Tell me somebody painted a blue square called Emotional Damage Number 4 and somebody's paying $145,000 for it. That's Venmo for billionaires, folks. At this point, if a business stays open longer than Spirit Halloween, it's money laundering. We're walking through the mall like, cartel, yep, cartel, definitely cartel. The pretzel store's a crime syndicate, and you got a 19-year-old working at Sunglass Hut just trying to survive, and everybody's looking at that dude like he's laundering money for Walter White. It's a money laundering operation. Prove me wrong.
I just noticed something so dystopian lately. I do field sales, so I'm in grocery stores a lot, and there's an entire major chain of grocery stores I've noticed doing something different. They started putting mini stores inside of the store. They have their own register. It's all blockaded off. And I asked one of the employees why they're doing this, and she said that they are blockading off the items that have most likely been stolen in the past. I get it, they're a business, they're a corporation, like that's capitalism, but I just think it's so important we take a step back and think about how crazy that is, that instead of looking at the astronomical price of groceries and why people might be stealing more, the corporations are just putting in more parameters to prevent theft. It's just so classic. The corporations always come out on top.
This restaurant tried charging me a $12 food reheat fee because I asked them to reheat my steak. That is not happening. I'm sorry.
So we're here at Applebee's, and isn't this very interesting? If I want to tip 20% of my 49.49 total, it gives me a tip total of $11.30. When I do the math on my phone, it's actually $9.89. So, what do you guys think? Discrepancy? Is this happening at all the Applebee's or just this one? Good question.
Hey AMC, just wanted to document the conditions for the movie. That it was $40 for the two of us to have tickets, and then we got drinks and it was $60, and I just want to document that this is the conditions of the theater prior to the movie.
Since when has this ever been a medium fry? Just because you write the word medium on it, that don't mean it's medium. When? Almost $3 for this. For this. Because you wrote the word medium on there, it's a medium.
Okay, can someone explain to me in what world a USB drive is $200? What happened? What has happened? Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. $240 for this? $125? This thing is the size of my thumbnail.
Something needs to be said about this because I'm in shock. So my daughter had a $10 gift card to Starbucks, and so we decided to stop. She got a tall caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino and a unicorn cake pop. I want you to tell me how much you think that this was. These two items, a tall, the smallest size they have of a frappuccino, and this cake pop. I'll wait. Both of these items together were $10.23. $10.23 for this. Okay, look at how, like, this is a tall. I mean, am I cheap? Like, I understand inflation. Like, I get it. I totally understand. And don't tell me, like, why are we still shopping at Starbucks? Why? Shut up. She had a gift card. Like, get off me. I cannot believe that was so expensive. Like, I'm actually stunned. That wild.
Y'all want to talk about a recession indicator of this year? Let's talk about it. I'm walking in to get my prescription. What do I see? A gallon of milk for $3.99. Mind you, CVS not only owns certain insurance companies, but they also set the prices for prescriptions. And they're telling you to go get your milk here because it's probably cheaper than a grocery store. Save every free penny you have, except they're actually not making pennies anymore. The Mint is discontinuing them because our value of the dollar is decreasing every single day. In the year of 2025 alone, the dollar lost 11% of its value. And we're still in a pre-war economy, mind you. So save your money, stop buying stuff. I'm mostly talking to me, but I'm also talking to you guys because you don't need that new shirt. That purchase is not going to serve you, and you're only propping up the economy a little bit more so it can crash.
Has anyone else kind of stopped applying to jobs? And not even because you don't want to work, but more so because it doesn't even feel like it leads anywhere anymore. It's like you apply, and you either never hear anything back, or the jobs that you do hear back from don't even realistically cover basic living. And at some point, it just kind of starts to feel like, what's the point of doing the same exact thing and expecting a different outcome? I don't really feel like that's us giving up. It's more so people just realizing that something isn't really working anymore.
I've applied for over 300 jobs, not a single callback, nothing. So what I decided to do on Monday is, this is now Tuesday, what I decided to do yesterday was make a fake resume and change my last name to Singh, different email address, different job qualifications, but all in the same line, same everything. And I've gotten 3 emails in 24 hours. Figure that out.
What happened to the days of teens being able to find a part-time job in the summer? I have taken Jordan and Leah around, like, the radius of where we live. There's a whole bunch of places. There's Burlington, there's Marshall's, there's Hobby Lobby, there's the Dollar Tree, there's Domino's, there's Walmart, there's everything around us, right? Nobody wants to hire them. And I get it, they're teens, whatever, but how do you expect for a person to get experience at a job if nobody will hire them? I feel like it was not that hard in my day to get a job at all. Like, I had a job at 15. Heck, I think I had a job at 14. I think at Subway. I did. I threw a sandwich at somebody. It was as an adult, I was going to say that it wasn't warranted. It was warranted. He threw a sandwich at me first. I picked up the sandwich and I threw it back at him. But that's besides the point. The point is, how are young people getting jobs these days? Give us some tips. These guys need to work. They want a car.
So the economy is definitely affecting the middle class. I live in a middle class neighborhood, maybe like a little above middle class, not quite like upper middle class or anything, but like the houses are pretty big, but not fancy. Normally this time of year, there's all sorts of projects going on, like people getting decks, people getting landscaping, all sorts of things. And I have not seen any of that so far this spring into summer. And I'm seeing, as I walk around, a lot of deferred maintenance, where normally people really take care of their houses in tip-top shape. I'm just seeing, you know, like little things like gutters and doors that need to be replaced. No one's grass is super green. No one's watering their grass. You know, just not the upkeep I normally see in our neighborhood. It's clearly something people can't afford right now. And it's really kind of affecting the look of the neighborhood. And I'm not saying I'm any better. You know, we have a fence that really needs replacing, but it's not happening this year. It is not happening. So it's just an interesting thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys are noticing it too. You know, everything costs so much. So not only do people have less money in their pockets, but projects are just not something people can afford right now. And I'm seeing it everywhere.
So the company I work for had an emergency meeting on Monday.
That meeting was to inform all of us employees that we will be closing the doors at our facilities after almost 80 years in business. No fault of the companies, we were just swallowed up by the corporate monster. But I decided in that moment that I would no longer be working for anybody. Been with the company for a while, 48 years old, young family, essentially having to start over again.
My husband lost his job of 31 years 8 weeks ago. Stay with me, please. So anyways, my husband, 31 years, never written up at work, nothing. Again, he's been there forever, high up supervisor. They called him into the office one Monday and said, hey, here's your termination paperwork. We're just going to go a different route. I can only make assumptions at this point, and everybody around him, he got multiple calls from people he's worked with, everything, just shocked. They loved him there. Is that most likely they're just trying to pay someone less money. So that's the only assumption we can make. Business sense, sure, do what you want. Personal sense, it's been a shock to us. Anyways, he obviously is struggling to find something that paid as much as it did because he had been there since he was 19 years old. Of course, you know, you put equity into a business by working hard, you go up the ladder and make good money. So granted, you know, finding something that's in the six figures again is a struggle.
Is anybody else sick and tired of every day feeling like $300? I mean, you can't walk out your house and spend less than $100. I mean, gas alone is $75. But I just feel like there's a bill due every single day. You check your account, bill came out, bill came out, bill came out, bill came out. I mean, you can't enjoy the money that you make because you got to pay these bills. And here are the people, well, you should budget better and you should do this and get rid of this and get more. I'm just not supposed to have a cell phone, not supposed to, you know, live. I'm a family of four. I got four mouths I got to feed. So you're telling me not buy groceries, get rid of your cell phones. Oh, go down the one. How are you going to do one card? That's 2 car payments you got to have, right? Like you just, and I make pretty good money. You know, a lot of people think police don't make good money. Depends on where you're at. But I make pretty good money. But it's still, every day seems like $300. It just seems like you walk out your door, well, there goes $300, not to mention there's a bill due. Like I said, it's just wild to me. I know everybody else is tired with it. I know everybody else is struggling. It just sucks. It's just literally, I feel like, I guess the biggest problem I have is like you just can't enjoy what some money that you do make, right? Because you have to pay all these bills. Like, I don't, you know, good for those people that can go on 3 or 4 vacations a year. That can't be me. I mean, it just can't, you know, I can barely go on 1 vacation a year, let alone 3 or 4 or 5 like some of these people do. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's just a struggle. I know everybody's struggling, but it's just, to me, I just feel like every day is $300. You might as well just put $300 out the window every single day because that's life. It's insane.
I think a major recession indicator is the fact that soap, laundry detergent, and deodorant are now being stolen. Those are high theft items. They now have to put them under lock and key at so many stores. And when a store invests money into putting in the infrastructure to lock in an item, that means it's highly being taken, and they're really working to reduce that level of theft on their inventory. Meaning, very simply, that people can't afford to clean themselves anymore. And just think about this, 20 years ago when the minimum wage was $7.25, I could get a 2-pack or 3-pack of Irish Spring for $1. I could get Speed Stick deodorant for $1. And Irish Spring is bar soap in case you buy something different. And then laundry detergent, I could get a cheap bottle like Arm & Hammer for like $2, $3. So in one shift, in 1 hour, I would be able to afford my soap, my laundry detergent, and all. But now when I go and try to get those same things I used to buy, okay, I still get Speed Stick, the gel, and it's like $12. I did find one place that had it for $10, but now the price has gone up to $12. But it is a 2-pack, but it's still $12. So you split it in half, that's $6 for each tube, right? Bar soap, I'm finding 2 packs for $3, And then when it comes to laundry detergent, I haven't found any laundry detergent that's cheaper than $5. I may not be looking hard enough, but I can't find anything cheaper than $5. And that's like bottom of the barrel cheap, not even the decent soap that you used to be able to get for $3. That's bottom of the barrel. So in actuality, I'm walking around now spending like $20 to $30 just to buy those basic needs, which means the average person who's on minimum wage would have to work 3 to 4 hours just to be able to clean themselves on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And back in the day, that would have been 1 hour worth of work. That's a recession. That's a problem. People are stealing because they can't afford the basic needs. We're not in a good place, folks. And right now, the administration has done nothing to bring down the inflation. We're having big old parties on the White House lawn, dirt bikes flipping, UFC fights and stuff, but no policies have been put in place to bring down the prices or bring up minimum wage. Nothing has been done, which means as prices continue to go up, theft is going to go up, or people are just going to have to do without. But that's a major recession indicator for me. People can't even afford soap, deodorant, and laundry detergent. Y'all have a good day.
Today I got laid off after 8 years, but this is not the part where I fall apart. It's been like the most emotional day ever, and I think I'm still in shock. Like, obviously it's gonna take some time for me to actually realize, like, all the initiatives I was working on. Like, I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and do those things with my team, and I'm just like built so much professionally that I'm really proud of.
Miami's a shithole right now. It's a shithole. And if you're a local, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you want to pretend that Miami's great and, oh, it's the best city, because I know a lot of you locals like to pretend that, but you see it. You see it when you're driving. You drive by houses, small little houses that have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars parked outside, because that's how many people are living there. Maybe even more, because some of them don't have cars. More people are living there than the number of cars that you see. You know that the shit is getting really stinky here. I have a colleague who's in her 50s. She works full-time, 6 days a week. Her rent went up 30% in 1 year. She could not absorb that cost, so she had to move. And now, and she found like a little efficiency. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a converted tool shed that she's living in a converted tool shed in the back of someone's property for super cheap. It's like a little tiny studio, tiny, like a bed and some shelves. That's what she's got now. A woman in her 50s who works 6 days a week full time and has done so for decades. But she can't afford to fucking live, and now she found out she has cancer. And we work in an industry where there's no PTO. There's no PTO. Yeah, there's no PTO. There's no politician saying that we should have PTO. There's no politician in hell saying that they shouldn't raise the rents 25, 30, 35% in 1 year. And that happened to me too. That happened to me too. My rent went up in 1 year 25%, and there's no way that I could absorb that cost. So I had to move from the apartments that I was living in close to the coast to move in with family so that I could just survive. And at that time, I was working 7 days a week, making well into the 6 figures. This was almost 3 years ago. I was making well into the 6 figures, and I had to move back in with family. That's the situation that we're living in right now. The only way that people can survive in Miami is either they have a ton of money, or if they're actually like working for a living, then they have to shack up with multiple roommates, not just one, multiple roommates. Or they have to shack in with family. And the ones that don't have that fall off the grid, i.e. they become homeless, or they have to just leave the state and go find somewhere where they can live. If they're lucky. If they're lucky. And so now when I see people like making these videos, all these creators that are like, oh, Miami, it's paradise. Look at me, look at me, look at me in my bag and my coffee or my shoes. Look at my car, bro. Look at my new car, bro. Yeah, all of those videos, keep making them. Keep making them, please. We want to know everything about your life, down to like what time you go to that coffee shop, where you park your car, right? So that we can figure out how much money you make, because when the shit hits the fan, you know, Miami was an interesting place in the 1980s, and I feel like it's gonna head back there real quick. real quick. I mean, we're already like 1 foot in the 1980s. And if you don't know what the Miami was like in the 1980s, go look it up. Watch Cocaine Cowboys. Yeah, just crime, drugs, fun, great times.
Make it make sense why I'm paying $500 a week for groceries and necessities at Walmart, mind you. It wouldn't be much cheaper at Aldi, and I can't get a lot of the things anyway at Aldi. Why? I question every single week, why does it cost this much to live? Grateful beyond words that I can spend that, but like those of you out there living on one income or living on 2 incomes with no like extra income, no extra streams, and you're trying to buy organic and fresh things for your family, how are you doing it? Like, I do not know. Because most people have a mortgage. We don't have a mortgage anymore since we live in our RV. But like, how are you doing it?
You thought rent increases were bad last year in Chicago. If you thought it was hard to find a rental last year in Chicago and you were blaming landlords, let it be known it's going to get worse. Everyone who owns property just got their property tax assessment from Cook County, and I hear double. People went from $6,000 a year in property taxes to $13,000 a year on a 2-bedroom in Uptown. Yeah, that's not getting passed along to your tenants. So it's going to be rough come spring for renters in Chicago.
I logged on to studentaid.gov today because my loans are in forbearance, and I figured, hey, maybe while they're in forbearance, I can make some extra payments and try and get the principal down. You can't. You have to pay the interest first. So not only do I have $5,000 of accrued interest, like already, the daily interest rate for my loans is $24.89, which means if there's a 31-day month, in order for me to touch any bit of principal on my loans, I have to pay the $5,000, and then I also have to pay over $771.71 for any of my principal to ever be touched.
Y'all, I got my property tax bill today. This shit is highway robbery. I bought my house back in 2022. When I bought my house, it was a little over $6,000. Then less than 2 years, my property taxes went up to over $10,000. Now I get a bill today. It done went up another $8,080.10. They don't want us to own shit. Matter of fact, we never do. We never own shit because whether your house is paid for in full, if you do not pay your property taxes, you could lose your home. Then I qualified for the homeowner's exemption, right? So what they did was they took it up to $13,443. They took the homeowner's exemption up $2,274.48. Look. $11,169 for this year's property tax. Hold on, let me just stroll up just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's do the comparison. Look at this shit. Property taxes was just $10,089. Y'all, they taxing the out of me for no goddamn reason.
Santa Monica has lost the freaking plot. You've probably heard of the viral Vons that just opened up at the base of a new apartment building. And maybe you, like me, were curious about how much units in that building cost. There are 230 units, by the way. And I'm shocked, to say the least. It's better if I just show you. Let's start with a studio 1 bath, shall we? That is going to cost you $4,775. Maybe you're like, listen, I'm an adult. A studio? Can I at least get a 1 bed? Sure. Let's see. That will cost you $6,035. Most adults aren't dying to move into a 1 bed, 1 bath. You want a 2nd bedroom. Okay, let's see. Well, honey, that's going to cost you $9,830. Listen, I want a 3 bed, like a guest bedroom and then maybe 1 bedroom to be an office. Okay. $12,000. The corner 3-bed, 2-bath penthouse terrace. $30,000. For $1,000 a day, you can live in a mediocre part of Santa Monica.
So how have we, the people, allowed this to happen? You know, we paid our taxes to build this road. They ask us for more taxes to build an extra lane. And then once they use our tax money to build that lane, they take it away from us and say, hey, you want to use this lane that you already paid for as a taxpayer? Pay up, buddy. Pay up using your Easy Pass. You know what, guys? This is so wrong. No one's ever in that lane because, you know what? Most Americans are struggling because we pay so much in taxes that they want to tax us again to use an express lane? Unbelievable. Crooks, I say.
I'm trying to go see a movie, 3 adults, right? $84 for 3 movie tickets. Come on, you guys. This isn't even Wicked. It's Zootopia.
Is anybody else like one bad day away from selling everything that they own, going and buying an old farmhouse, getting some chickens, learning how to sourdough, homeschool my kids, maybe get a Highland cow, I do want a baby goat, and just living off of the land? Anybody else?
I don't understand how people are surviving. I don't, because all that's coming up on my Instagram feed, my TikTok feed, literally everything is people buying houses, people getting married, having these expensive weddings, having babies, going to Thailand, going to Japan, going to Mykonos. I made a pretty good salary. A couple years ago before COVID, I made like $85K, which is like enough to survive in New York City. And my salary was slashed like almost by a third just because people don't value design and marketing as much anymore ever since AI. And I'm like living paycheck to paycheck. I work a 9 to 5. Sometimes I work over a 9 to 5 because I work overtime. I work a good job that I went to school for, got a degree for. I have 10 years of experience. And I have enough money to buy my medicine, buy my food, buy a couple nice outfits, maybe a dinner. Like, everything else is bills. How are people affording their lifestyles? And I know not all of it is like credit card debt or rich parents. Like, I've asked some people, and like they genuinely are just better at saving, but it's like, it's impossible to save and budget when you're only making enough to survive. And I'm barely paying rent. I'm paying my parents' rent, but it's not like real rent. It's like reduced rate. And it's just like, I don't even make enough money right now as someone who has a full-time 9 to 5 in the advertising industry to afford a 1-bedroom. I do not make enough money to afford an apartment on my own. Like, I used to have dreams. Oh my God, I sound like such a cliche, but like, I did. I would write in my spare time. I would write poetry. I thought maybe one day I would write like a screenplay for fun. I don't even have the energy anymore to do any of my hobbies. And it's like, I'm literally spending all my energy at a 9 to 5 to afford food to eat for lunch during the 9 to 5 so I can continue working. Like,
you guys know how I know the economy is absolutely through the toilet right now? I go to Harbor Freight. I'm sitting in the parking lot. There are no cars at Harbor Freight. You go to all these stores, right? And you walk in and you see the prices of these things that used to be, you know, say you'd find a product for $5. Now that product is $12. I'm seeing endless videos right now online of people coming out of grocery stores almost in tears. I watched a video of a man who went into a grocery store in his hometown. He lived in a small town in California. And mind you, this is California prices, okay? But even here, it's the same way in New Mexico. You go in to buy a meal. Say you go to buy stuff to make a spaghetti. That meal costs you 40, 45, 50 bucks for freaking spaghetti. You guys, when are the prices going to start stabilizing? I can go to the grocery store and try to buy a 2-pound package of beef. It'll wind up costing $20. What are we going to do about the pricing, guys? I really want to know, because seeing so many videos of people literally in tears because they can't afford groceries, they can't afford to pay their bills all in one paycheck because they're having to split up payments, they're having to use credit cards. We have to use credit cards too. I just want to know when it's going to get better. Is it ever going to get better?
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great. From wherever you're watching this video from, again, I'm your host and pre-Gentrification docu-stories. Now, it is true that people are having an awakening. And the awakening that they are having is that America is a one big scam. And as in the words of George Carlin, you have to be asleep or you are a fool to believe in the American dream. Now, those words are so sarcastic, but deep down, with all that sarcasm, there is a major truth that's hidden inside all this. So, brothers and sisters, as my norm, or as you know, I always have a culture of, sharing people's perspective in regards to what's going on. And indeed, from the comment section, you can definitely see that people are waking up to the reality. So, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna be sharing the comments in regards to this. Now, Proverbs 29:22, as quoted by somebody, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bereath rule, the people mourns. And this is the truth. And the truth is, the elites are the wicked. Whether somebody says that this is a conspiracy or anything, the elites are the wicked, because they know very well. They know very much what they do. They play deprivation games. And when you read, psychologists and philosophers like Machiavelli, you're going to see how they're using this tactic, because this is one thing that they're doing. They're creating a problem and they come up with the solution. And how does this solution benefit them? For example, they create economic crisis. They definitely know that people are not having money. So what will people run to? People will run to take credit. So when people take credit, what happens? When people take credit, this is what happens. You pay with interest. So when you pay with interest, what happens? You make them rich. When you depend on them, they have power. So this is something hidden that majority of people don't see or don't know. Somebody said that the United States is one big scam. Everything is a scam. Somebody said that they made healthcare a commodity. Education is a debt trap. And housing a speculation market, then told you that poverty is a personal failing. They privatized survival and called it freedom. That's according to Michelle Clark. Right. It's really sad, but at the end of the day, we are seeing people waking up to, all these realities. And the reality is that people are saying that America is one big scam. And they're, sounding the alarm. They're sounding the alarm to each other. They're sounding the alarm so that you can get to know the reality. You can get to know the truth. You can get to see how things really happen. Right. Somebody said that the guy mentioning the scam for 15 bucks per hour, a remote job, is on point. I just got an email or two pretty much asking for $500 to be considered a job. So they accepted my application. Everyone is trying to share their frustration, and indeed it is valid, because these are Americans speaking, Americans having their thoughts, Americans talking about all these things that are happening. And it's true, because when you get to look at the reality of the matter is that America is one big scam. Look at the healthcare system and see the reality of the matter. Somebody said that I had a surgery on my spine 2 years ago. That's called the orthopedic surgeon. Told me that I had to have a minimum of 10 weeks off work. Yeah, okay. Not lifting or bending. Minimal time on my feet. Had surgery on Thursday, went back to work Monday. I was an absolute agony, but the bills had to get paid. Life doesn't stop because I have a bad back. When my surgeon found out, he went ballistic. Read me the riot act. I said, well, you earn 300K a year plus. I don't. How about you pay my bills when convalescing? I was back at my work the next day. I mean, you can definitely hear the frustrations of Americans, people sharing their thoughts in regards to what's really happening. Even in the video, you can definitely see that this is something which is happening. But just one question that I want to ask you, brothers and sisters, what do you really think about this, right? I just want to know your opinion in regards to this. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter, Hygienic Stories. But until then, let me see you on my next video. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.